This morning, let's begin by getting you all the updates you need to know on the Ukraine war. Day 33 now of this conflict raging on, and Russia's continued attacking key Ukrainian cities using deadlier missiles under what's being termed as Phase 2 of its invasion plan. This comes amid negotiators meeting for the 6th round of talks to broker a middle ground to end the war. The talks will be held in Turkey and is the second such dialogue to be hosted by Turkey. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused the West of lacking courage as his country continues to fight to stave off Russia's invasion. Zelensky alleged that the West is playing ping-pong over who and how the fighter jets should be delivered to Ukraine as it continues to fight the Russians. This comes as Ukraine alleged that Russia wants to divide Ukraine into two parts and then install a puppet government in the occupied area. Ukraine said that the resistance will grow into a total guerrilla warfare and derail Russia's plan to successfully have a proxy government in place. And let's also get to our ground reports. Ukraine is fighting a two-front war, one with Russian invasion forces and the other with Russian-backed rebels. This is in the eastern part of Ukraine, in the region called Donetsk, who themselves call their entire area as the Donetsk People's Republic. It's a separatist region which is pitted against Ukraine rule. Here's a report by India Today's Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan.
Ukraine is fighting a two-front war, one with Russian invasion forces and the other with Russian-backed rebels of Donetsk, who call themselves the Donetsk People's Republic, a separatist region which is pitted against the Ukraine rule. As Ukrainians battle it out against Russian aggression, images from southeastern Ukraine tell a different story. India today visited this rebel stronghold of Donetsk to find strong support for Russian President Vladimir Putin and his invasion. In Donetsk, most cars were seen with pro-Russia Z signs. The anti-Ukrainian sign is a call for independence from Ukraine.
Z denotes independence. Russia and the breakaway factions of Donbas region, Donetsk, what they call Donetsk People's Republic, DPR, are together fighting the Ukrainians. And the two signs that they use are signs that Ukraine also recognizes distinctly as being anti-Ukraine, which is V for victory and Z for independence. In Donetsk, you will not see a lot of V signs, you'll see Z. Why? Because the call is for independence. So a lot of cars over here that you see have the Z sign, only saying that they do not want to remain with Ukraine, they want independence.
Russian supporters in downtown Donetsk were also seen paying homage to the lives lost in the Tochka-U missile attack carried out by the Ukrainians on 14th March. More than 20 people were allegedly killed in the attack, which left marks of shelling on residential buildings.
This is the building that got hit, and I'll show you. This is where it landed. 20 people were killed. That's the memory. That's the memory of the people whose lives were lost. And the entire building over here, you can see the marks of shelling. If you see, there are marks of shelling everywhere in the building.
Lately, it's noted that the attacks are even more frequent than before. I talked with some military personnel, and it's totally speculative what I'm going to say. But one possible explanation is that Ukrainian troops, which are stationed in Donetsk, or near Donetsk right now, it's possibly more than 50,000 of them. So it's a huge troop, and possibly they are sending the sort of a message.
The Moscow-backed separatists have ruled the Donbas region for 8 years now. Russia is now using them as tools to gain upper hand in the invasion war.
Will there be a ceasefire? Will there be an end to war? Can there be negotiations where both sides' demands are met and kept? We'll be reporting on that. With which journalist Satya Rautre in Donetsk, Geeta Mohan for India.
Now, the western Ukrainian city of Lviv, which has essentially acted as a safe haven for Ukrainians fleeing the war, has become the latest target of Russian airstrikes. Multiple missile attacks rocked the city at a time when US President Joe Biden was in Poland, which essentially means he was just 400 kilometers away from some of the missile strikes.
Russia's offensive in Ukraine has moved to an even deadlier pace. The assault is moving from the east, close to Russian border, to the far west city, Lviv, bordering NATO member Poland. The largest city in western Ukraine was once bustling, providing safe haven for hundreds of thousands of people fleeing the war, raging in the troubled eastern parts. But is no longer the safe zone, immune from Russian airstrikes. In the last 24 hours, the city witnessed one of the fiercest attacks that western Ukraine has experienced by far. 2 rockets struck a fuel depot on the city's eastern outskirts, and 2 rockets later hit a military factory. Followed by high-precision cruise missiles striking an infrastructure facility. Russia showing clear indications that it has expanded the war theater. The chilling images on your screen capture the panic that gripped the city as missiles rained in. Citizens ran for their lives as they watched the deadly smoke engulfing the region. Civilians huddled inside bunker to escape the wrath of Putin's ferocious assault.
We were sitting in our car for a couple of minutes, and then we heard this very loud, I don't know how to say it, when rocket just came. After a couple of seconds, maybe 30 seconds, second bombing, and everyone left to the shelters.
The attacks had caused significant damage to infrastructure facilities, blowing out windows at a local school, leading to widespread destruction. The attack on the western city came exactly at a time US President Joe Biden was just across in Poland. The US President was exactly at a distance of only 400 kilometers from the site where Putin's missile hit.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power. Let us resolve to put the strength of democracies into action to thwart the designs of autocracy. Let us remember that the test of this moment is the test of all time.
Rescue teams are having their hands full, spending all night extinguishing raging fire and minimizing fallout of the attacks, which raged a fuel shortage, leading the massive flames.
In the fog of war, it is unclear on day 32 if Ukraine is able to strike back and hard at the Russian strongholds. Ukraine has also insisted it's mounted a series of counterattacks in the Kherson region in the south, and that is where the Russians have completely cut off Ukraine from the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea. From Mariupol to Kherson, the Russians once again trying to consolidate their position even as Ukraine's forces try to strike back. With cameraman Lalit Mohan Joshi in Lviv, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
The war in Ukraine is showing no signs whatsoever of abating. Over a month, and Moscow's war machine isn't slowing down. The Russian Navy Boyan M missile boat launched 4-caliber cruise missiles, which caused massive destruction in parts of Ukraine.
A brooding night sky over the Black Sea, torn apart by 4 Caliber cruise missiles launched from a Russian Navy Buyan M missile boat. Their targets, Ukrainian sites near the country's capital, Kyiv. Capable of hitting targets hundreds of kilometers away with devastating accuracy, the use of Caliber cruise missiles signals a shift into the realm of advanced weaponry in the second phase of this war. The Russian Ministry of Defense has flaunted this video of the Iskander short-range ballistic missile as well, being used to target a claimed foreign mercenary unit using a Kyiv shopping mall as a reloading base for its rocket units. The third major Russian missile system being used is the Yakhont high-speed cruise missile, seen here being launched against a Ukrainian weapons depot in the western part of the country. The Yakhont is a progenitor of the Indo-Russian BrahMos missile in service with the Indian Armed Forces. And the missile that Russia has used for the first time in combat, the Kinzhal hypersonic air-launched cruise missile, seen here smashing into a Ukrainian underground weapons depot. The Kinzhal is a nuclear-capable weapon that has of course been used only with conventional warheads in Ukraine. Four advanced Russian missile systems, all four being used in anger against Ukraine. The damage they're causing, plain for their makers and the world to see. Of course, there's another Russian missile that's on operational alert amidst this Ukrainian crisis. A weapon stored away secretly inside Russia's Bore-class nuclear ballistic missile submarines. A weapon that will hopefully never be used. The Bulava, a submarine-launched intercontinental range ballistic missile. A Cold War weapon that could bring about the end of the world if ever fired in anger. A weapon whose heightened state of alert has sparked nuclear fears across the world. As Russia's war in Ukraine rumbles forward in its second month, missile power will define the onward march. Bureau Report, India Today.